Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the TB&J podcast. With me today is my co-host, Troy Brittingham.
You are Jeff Ackerman.
I am Jeff Ackerman, and sometimes co-host, longtime friend of the pod, John Fitzwater, joining us today. And I asked John to join us as my friend and my closest friend who has the biggest hard-on for Borderlands, the video game. Correct?
I would say that I am fully erect.
Most of the time, yes.
For the game or
Oh,
right
just-
now?
I'm not classifying.
Just in general. Why not? But John, you are the friend I've had for so long that has loved Borderlands so much. You would play it for hours and hours and hours when I first knew you. It was a tattoo design you wanted to get for a long time.
Still thinking about it.
You wanted the Vault Hunter logo of some nature. And I believe Krieg was incorporated in there somehow?
I was going to get because I want the back of my legs tattooed. One's going to be the Psycho mask, and then the other one was going to be the Dishonored mask.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
One of those game series is still really good and doesn't suck.
Well, except the studios. Well, one of the studios is gone.
But I asked John to be here because we are doing Borderlands, the movie that just came out, directed by Eli Roth and starring a bunch of people that should not be anywhere near this film.
Frankly, nobody's. I've never heard of
And
it.
we're going to talk about Borderlands, the movie. Give us a second.
TB&J! 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 TB&J!
All right, lads. So we're all big fans of Borderlands. I recall when Borderlands 2 came out, we all sat down, we played through the entire opening sequence together. Troy, you, me, Dave Arnott, another good friend of the podcast. I forget who our fourth was at that time. I think it was Eric Nguyen.
I have no idea. I also may not have been included in this. I am famously really late to every Borderlands game, so I don't know if this was me.
You know what? It was a Dave Yuza. It was Dave Yuza, Dave Arnott, myself,
Yeah, you guys didn't like
and
me
Eric.
and still continue not to like me, actually.
Yeah, actually, I don't know why you're here. No, but I've been playing Borderlands for forever and ever. I remember I got into Borderlands 1 shortly before 2 came out. I played as Roland back then. I had a level 60 Roland. I got every achievement in the base game. I was just fucking kicking ass, taking names. Borderlands 2 comes around, and it was even better, built on everything even more to the extreme. Borderlands 3 comes out. It's still a pretty good game. Writing's a little less, but the gameplay is still solidly there and improved upon.
I like 3 a lot.
I also like 3 a lot. It's just not as good as 2.
I think when you have Handsome Jack created, is you can't beat that. And the Callisto siblings, they're not bad. Like they're not bad.
No, they're
guy,
pretty good. I enjoyed them.
When you're following
Some
up,
people hate.
But I don't know. I like the game. Also, I think even though it took them 3 games to add ledge grab, which bothers the hell out of me. But it was like,
yeah, right.
like, come on, guys.
Could you imagine doing all those fucking like platformy parkour bits in Borderlands 2 if you had ledge grab?
Oh my god, it'd be awesome,
dude. Right? Like that would have made it so much fucking easier. But no,
I wouldn't walk away every time there was like a scavenger mission in the first game.
Oh yeah.
For an okay blue sniper rifle or something.
Yeah, or you got to find all those repair kits to get the claptraps working so you can upgrade your storage capacity and shit. Remember that? Those were fun games, guys. So if you were to take those games and turn them into a movie, it should be a lot of fun, right?
Yeah, it should definitely be a PG children's movie.
PG-13.
Oh,
PG-13.
They got me
They
there.
are allowed to say fuck one time.
Yeah, and no blood and gore.
No. So on that, I read that one of the stunt directors was like, we were blowing heads off. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, what happened? So this movie was very cursed, basically from the jump. It got shot. The casting was announced, and it got a very lukewarm response from the fan base at large because it seems like they just wanted a bunch of A-list actors. And I was talking to my wife about it because she's another big Borderlands fan. I took her to see the movie, and she got so bored halfway through she was playing Bloons on her phone, that fucking tower defense game from like 2001. She was saying like it's almost as if they just like gave you a one-sentence descriptor of the character, and some executive producer was just like, "Oh, this person, do that." Like, "Oh, we need a black male lead. Oh, Kevin Hart, do it." It's like, "Okay, should I finish the description?" No, Kevin Hart, do it. It's like, okay, cool. We need a quirky, funny guy to voice a robot, Jack Black. It's like, wait, can I finish? No, Jack Black. That's who we're getting. Okay.
Yeah, they were like, oh, you know what was really good? That was kind of video game related. Jumanji. Let's
Yeah,
just run
right?
with that.
Oh, remember how beloved Jumanji was?
I'm surprised The Rock
Jumanji
wasn't
does
in it.
make $1 billion every time, so
Fucking insanity. So, right off the bat, the casting for this movie is completely ridiculous out of left field. I was willing to
nobody
give
that I really dislike. I'm not a Kevin Hart person, but
No,
everybody else.
And that's like every one of these actors individually, I love. I've seen other things they've been in, and they are wonderful people. And to their credit, I think Ariana Greenblatt and Florian, I can't pronounce his last name, they were really good casting for Tiny Tina and Krieg.
He sounded so good as Krieg.
He really did.
Yeah.
And fucking
Marcus.
Marcus was cast brilliantly as well. I can't remember the actor's name off the top of my head, but he also does Dutch Vanderland in the Red Dead Redemption games, and he's really fucking good at that. Benjamin Byron Davis, there it is. But that's the thing. A lot of these people are really, really good actors individually.
The ones that worked, I think, the best in this movie for casting were the ones that you didn't really know. Like, the girl is newer. She just showed up in Barbie. Like, that's when she got big. And now she's in this movie. She's still kind of an unknown. The dude who plays Krieg, who's a name I can't remember. But
Florian Montanou.
not in a huge amount of stuff like the other guys are. So I wouldn't say, like, a A-list actor.
Right.
But, like, because of that, I think they had more to try to work with, whereas the other ones were just running off their name.
Exactly. And, Jamie Lee Curtis, she's in some of my favorite horror movies of all time.
Yep.
And yet, I don't think she was great to play
No.
Dr. Tennis.
No.
I really don't think. It seems like every one of the main cast, except Tiny Tina and Florian, was just, 20 years too old to be playing that role.
I mean, I even see the vision of a Cate Blanchett because, I feel like somebody would look at it and go, "Oh man, that would have been great if she was 20 years younger," and somebody just went, "No, we can make this work."
And then I'm
They
sitting here
couldn't.
no, I don't think you can. Same with Moxie. Moxie's supposed to look like she's in her mid to late 20s, even though we know as gamers and know her story, she isn't. But, Gina Gershon, great actress, she just looked way too old to be Moxie, in my opinion.
As another, and it seemed like everyone when they got in their role was like, "Oh, I get kind of what the character's like," and then just tripled they overacted 3 times worse.
Yeah.
Everyone was just overdoing every character shtick. Jamie Lee Curtis as Tannis was just way too wiry and I don't know, just completely oblivious, but not in the dry way she's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She was just kooky for being kooky.
Yeah, and then Moxie was just way too charmy, oh baby girl, that weirdness.
She had Moxie Comic-Con cosplayer energy.
Yeah, yeah.
It almost seemed like she was sarcastically charming. It didn't seem genuine for some reason to me. It seemed like she just oh, I guess I'll do this.
Did you guys
and
catch
I guess I'll say these.
Ellie and Scooter?
At the very end, yeah.
I was like, where the fuck were they? Apparently, you know what else they did? They cut
They cut Flintlock.
Yeah, and they cut what's it called? The marriage.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? It was filmed. There was people in costumes. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, in the Borderlands games, in Borderlands 2, you're introduced to these 2 characters. One is a legendary hunter named Flintlock, and the other one is a descendant of
Hammerlock.
Hammerlock.
Hammerlock, yes.
I'm so sorry, Hammerlock. Thank you, Troy.
I was like, that didn't sound right, but I didn't.
I couldn't remember
correct
that.
you.
Yeah,
And the other one is a member of the Jacobs family. They're another gun manufacturer in the game,
my favorite.
and they end up falling in love. And one of the DLCs is about their marriage, and you're trying to help them, save the day. And that their characters and the marriage got cut. I saw an Instagram post last year of the actors in full makeup. They looked great.
Yeah.
I don't know why their parts got cut. I don't know why any of that got cut. The movie is not long. I think it comes in right around an hour and a half.
And there's stuff that we didn't need. We didn't need Lilith's backstory with the parent. What the hell was
We
that
didn't need
shit?
any of that, no.
What are you're forcing these arcs into characters that you didn't need to. I mean, you're going to sell this movie if you just told the people who wanted the game to become a movie, be like, hey, you like the game? We got a movie of it, and actually made that happen.
Right.
The fan base would have went to it if you respected the fan base, but you ignored the fan base. We're trying to get a new movie-going fan base.
It honestly feels like the best comparison I can think of, Troy, maybe you'll agree, is when we watched Halo Season 1 together.
Oh,
and Halo felt like a generic sci-fi show with a Halo skin on it. This feels like a generic action comedy movie with a Borderlands skin.
Yeah, but I think I'd take Halo Season 1 before this.
Oh, for sure.
Halo Season
and
1 at least seemed like somebody had some idea of something and made it.
Absolutely, yeah. And at least in Halo Season 1, the actors are appropriately aged and look like their parts.
You do see Master Chief's ass like 3 times.
Twice.
Twice, I think. Yeah.
Shit, I
When
want
he takes the chip out, and then when he rapes the prisoner of war.
That does happen.
That
does happen.
There's so much I need to know, but we'll do that another time, I guess.
Chief raped a woman. I mean, legally he raped a woman. They frame it like it's consensual, but she's a prisoner of war.
It's a very
she can't
TV.
consent legally.
It's a very TV. Oh, this is a great relationship. Except if you peel back and look at it from real life, you're like, no,
no,
I don't think so.
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, but the one thing I'd said about the movie, like the best way I could describe it though overall is that someone picked up the game. Actually, this is how I want to say it. Back in like 2000 whatever when they first announced Borderlands, there was a Game Informer issue. I don't know if you guys remember.
2015. This movie got announced 9 years ago.
Yeah, that's the worst part. So half the people that they casted would have been better aged if they originally casted it. But
yeah, maybe.
when the game came out, when they first were coming up with the concept of the game, there was a Game Informer issue that had it before it was cell shaded, and people were like, "This game looks boring as hell." I feel like they read that issue of Borderlands and then went based on that game before they actually made Borderlands the game, and that's what this movie is based on. It just seems like it's just from a bunch of perspectives that are completely irrelevant. Like you read the back of the box and you're like, I can figure this out. It's just
yeah, it's so bizarre, and that's kind of where I'm going with this. We started with the cast, but like this movie has been in development hell for 9 years. It took forever to make this movie, and there's no goddamn reason it should have.
Also, I'm pretty sure it's safe to say all 3 of us thumbs down. We skipped that part. I'm imagining
Sure did.
the way we're talking about this. Very
6 out of
thumbs down.
15 stale fish.
6 out of 15 stale fish. I love that. So in 2015, the movie was announced in August, so exactly 9 years ago. And Ari and Avi Arad producing, and Lee Wannell was in talks to direct the movie. I don't even know who these people are.
No, but that would have been better. Because they probably played the game at least.
But then in February 2020, it was announced, Eric Feig is going to direct the movie, or produce it rather, and Eli Roth is going to direct, and the screenplay was written by Craig Mazin, who did the Last of Us TV show.
Yeah, they used.
You mean the best video game adaptation?
Yeah, that one.
So
interesting.
And if you might, Tim Miller was involved. He finished the movie, but was like, my name's not going to be on this, right?
Yeah, Tim Miller finished it because Roth was in the middle of doing Thanksgiving,
which was also terrible.
Which came out last year. Yeah,
it was fine.
It's not great. It's not bad.
No, but it's his niche. It's schlocky, shitty horror movies.
Yeah, and it's just this.
Like Eli Roth, at the very least, has some sort of like he's like visual and gory. And I was like, that adds that element to it at least. Like, what is it? Green Inferno was a good one that he did. So, like, I was
yeah.
So it'd be cool to see him take that and bring it to this movie. That was like the one thing he had to offer. I mean, I think Tim Miller, with how he did Deadpool, combined with Eli Roth's gore, would have been. It's set up to be a success. But someone decided PG-13 and fucked the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't understand where that logic really came from. But as John said earlier, like in the early days of this movie, they were blowing up heads. There was blood and gore, and then they just decided to pull all that back almost last minute. And they had Tim Miller come in to do reshoots to bring it down to a PG-13 rating. I guess they really didn't want to go for that R. Which is so bizarre.
Somewhere in production was like, we're going to blow budget. We're not going to make the money back. We got to cut this to a wider audience. And I think by doing that is where you lost your money. I think on top of that, you factor in like, it's I don't know, like it's not over the top enough for you to be like, if you're going to do it bad, do it really good bad, like over the top shitty, like everything. My big example,
almost like The Room.
My big example would be like her hair. Her hair looks so fake, and it's like lean into that element throughout the whole movie, and then maybe you buy back in this sort of like, okay, it's very fantastical, it's very schlocky and stupid, but like intentionally, and it's really gimmicky.
Sure.
Then you bring it back into that sort of like niche fan base. But what you've done essentially was just make a forgettably dull and like nothing's happening. They celebrate at the end, but what do they I don't know what fucking happened. Like nothing happened.
Yeah, like
I genuinely don't know what happened at the end of the movie. You're completely right.
So I wrote that down as one of my complaints of the movie. All of Sanctuary is celebrating the Atlas Corporation's head of, or CEO, I guess, getting murdered, and like their big flagship coming down. But like, as far as I know, they didn't tell us anything else about Sanctuary other than that they are a town who thrives on like trading and maybe coasting under the law, and you just lost one of your biggest customers in the area. Why the fuck are you celebrating?
Yeah, like it's like such a
That makes
small,
no sense.
It's a small event that happened, and everyone's like, "Fucking hey, we saved the world." It's like, no, you didn't. One thing
You
happened.
did nothing.
Yeah.
You saved a little girl's life who meant nothing to you a week ago.
Oh, don't get me started on the fact that she was supposed to be a siren at one point.
Also, oh Jesus Christ! So they could have easily. Let's back it up a little bit. Beginning of the movie, we get a narration intro, which
God, I hated
every
that
game
too.
does.
Yes.
However,
Yes.
in every
Yes,
game,
this is the first thing I thought.
in
when the movie
every
started.
game, the intro to the narration is done by Marcus.
Who would have been great because he sounded so good.
He sounded perfect, and the man is genuinely a voice actor. He would have known how to do it, and instead you have Cate Blanchett doing it. Why?
Well, it's okay because immediately we do get the cool Borderlands like musical intros that are on everything that introduces to all of our characters.
No,
That
we
happens
didn't.
Immediately after the voiceover.
Nope,
right?
we got none of that as
That
well.
why wouldn't you mean the thing everybody likes?
Side note.
I will say though, the one thing though with that is of the video game thing, the
Yes.
bus scene. The bus scene was cool, where like he goes in, he's like, Vault Hunter.
Yes.
And I was like, all right, that was cool. But then she's like anti-Vault Hunter, and I'm like, why? Why are you
She's a
against
bounty
it?
hunter. She's not a vault
Which
hunter.
goes back to what I'm saying. Like they Googled it. Like they're like, oh, Vault Hunter, that means bounty hunter, right? Yeah, it probably means bounty hunter. What's
Yeah,
bigger,
probably
bounty
means something
hunter?
like that. No, and then fucking my wife pointed out during the movie she was like, why is it every time Lilith is walking, she looks like she's obnoxiously swaying her hips and like a panther stalking its prey. I hate it. It's so distracting. And I was like, oh God, this is terrible. That's how we first see Lilith in the bus scene. She does that weird walk, kind of like purposely swaying, and then she has the phase walk, blows a kiss, and then it freezes Lilith as the siren. And I'm like, okay, so they saw that clip, and they were like, that's all of Lilith. That's who she is. Be that, Cate
You know
Blanchett.
who she kind of looks like?
Yeah.
There we go.
Honestly, though, this is not related at all. Dream casting for Lilith is Scarlett Johansson, and I feel like they absolutely could have done it for the money they gave Cate Blanchett.
Yeah, I mean, I could see it working. I think she has more of the swagger and the acting skills.
Just from Black Widow alone.
Yeah, I think that role would have come more naturally. I think Cate Blanchett's character, how she played the character, this weird like anti-Vault Hunter sort of I don't want to be here vibe. First off, seemed like she just genuinely didn't want to be in the movie. Like she's like, "Fuck, I agreed to this guy."
Yeah, like she doesn't want to be there. Also, her character works terribly with all of them. There is no camera chemistry with any of them.
No.
Zero.
No, not even a little bit. Like the casting again goes back to you just grab names out of a hat.
Yep.
And then when they put together, there was like, oh, this is it. This is the team. Like, what do you know?
This is it. Get used to It's like no, these people have no fucking chemistry together.
But you're
you know-
force fed the characters.
and half, more than half of the action scenes are just straight boring. You know what would have probably made them a lot cooler if anybody had an action skill or something.
That's the other thing.
Oh my god.
Another big part of Borderlands is leveling up your skills, and every character has like their own individual thing. In the movie, you see Lilith teleport, which is her phase walk. She does that in the first game, and that's kind of cool that they did it. However, Roland should have a deployable turret. Krieg should have psycho mode, where he just goes completely bloodthirsty and murders people and throws axes. I mean, to be fair, he does that anyway.
Yeah, which is why he's one of the more fun people
Yeah.
to look at.
But like
'cause-
Roland down in the sewer with his last stand, just have him drop the Scorpio turret, turn around, and just have killing people.
Yeah.
You could do it easily right there.
Why was there only 3 guns?
Also,
100%. This is the first thing that I came out-
Borderlands tagline for Borderlands 2 is 67 bazillion guns. That is the fucking tagline on the box. And there's 3 guns. 3. Like in the whole game. And none of them are unique. There's a flamethrower, which I guess you
There
could...
was never a
not-
flamethrower in the
that's-
game.
No.
There was flame bullets, and they kind of give you like the acid
Yeah.
element, but you get it in not gun
Down in the
form.
caustic
Yeah.
caverns.
It's
No,
like
but you know what they do have. Marcus does at one point say that she has a Vladoff Infinity. We do not go into what that means.
If you look
or-
at the gun in her, if you look at the gun in her hands, it's a handgun that has a painted infinity symbol on the side to make it seem like she has the infinity from Borderlands 2. Okay, it looks nothing like the infinity other than your painted on infinity symbol. And every other gun looks like you just pulled it out of a generic sci-fi world. Like, nothing here looks like Borderlands. Nothing here behaves like Borderlands. You're not showing me a Jacob's gun that looks like a cowboy rifle that fires as fast as you can pull the trigger. You're not showing me Malawan that has acid bullets or flame bullets. You're not showing me Hyperion that has, like, the greatest accuracy in the world.
If you hold it, though, you gotta hold it sometimes.
Yeah. See, he knows. Fucking none of that is shown. Oh, you don't even have Atlas weapons shown, which in the first game were just known for having extremely large magazines. Gets replaced by bandit guns in Borderlands 2 and onward. But, like, none of that was there, and it's a huge pivotal part of the game, is, like, the skills and the guns. None of that made it in there. Zero. Absolutely none.
And then, like, the Lilith having the fire wings at the, like...
Sure.
So... But she does it, like, once in Borderlands 2, or I think at the end of Borderlands 1, and then again at Borderlands 2, if I'm correct. And, like, it's, like, a big event. But, like, she's just out there flying around, and it just kind of looks like it just looks like... She looked like an asshole. Like, it didn't look like a Borderlands character. It looked like someone put her on the strings and was just like, look at me on fire wings. Like, what the fuck are you doing? They just took the element of her being the Firehawk, which was, like, a cult that followed her, and made it to, like, this, like, oh, it's our protector of the planet.
It's Pandora's ancient protector.
Firehawk in the game is literally just like a nickname. It's
Yeah.
just like, I guess I'll go with this.
Yeah, she raises a cult of bandits to follow her just to, like, you know, do a thing briefly in Borderlands 2 after she and Roland had break up.
Why it's like it's a great joke. The joke is that oh it's a great Firehawk, and you find out it's Lilith, and it's like, oh, that's funny as hell.
Yeah,
because it's like it's just this big build up to be like, oh, I'm just fucking with these guys.
Yeah,
but like this one, it's like, no, she is the protector, and it's just like, what the fuck, and like. You kind of push towards the fact that like sirens are very important, which we really get into in like Borderlands 3, but they just I don't know, like they took the idea of the sirens being important and made it the only focus, and it's like there's way more to explore. Like why are sirens important?
While also not doing any of the cool things.
The sirens do, yes.
Yeah, also sirens are really important to the Borderlands world, and you didn't elaborate on that at all in this movie.
You said sirens once, and you kept calling it something different. I was like, why?
Yeah, I mean, you could have opened the movie with like, oh, there are sirens. I'm one of them. I have powers. It makes me a good bounty hunter. That's how you could have like roped that into your stupid fucking story that Craig Mazin like bowed out of and said, don't put my name on this.
Take my name off that shit.
Jesus Christ. When they were doing reshoots, Craig Mazin said, I'm fucking done. Take my name off the project.
Yeah.
That's when it happened. And now the story is just by Eli Roth.
And apparently they took some other people's names off of the credits for who maybe not have didn't ask that.
Well, that's up for debate.
Is it?
Legitimately, yeah.
Okay.
So what Troy is mentioning is one of the artists who designed Claptrap. He was working for an art studio that was working on Claptrap, and then because of like contract stuff that happened in the background, he was working on like 1.0, and then Claptrap in the movie is like 2.5 or something like that.
Oh.
And because of like contracts and the way that it happened, and he didn't directly work on 2.5, but he built the bones at 1.0, so he's not credited, but other people are from that studio. It's very bizarre. I agree, it's bullshit.
Yeah,
but
there's two people who are.
It might not be like illegal or
Sure.
terrible. It's just movies suck.
Yeah, it just sounds like shitty contracts and red
And
tape.
I'm explaining it poorly, I'm sure. But like, and to speak of Claptrap, I'm gonna say something good about the movie. Claptrap looked really good.
Yeah, visually they nailed Clap. That's where the fucking budget went, was making Claptrap look good.
Also, I didn't hate Jack Black as much as I wanted to.
Ooh, that was weird.
Whoa,
nice.
Ooh, I could see the waveforms. It's all at the same time. Look at you.
I was gonna say, I think the first half of the movie, he's like kind of good, and every
Scanning.
I thought that was okay. I thought
was
that was
fine.
like the first. That was like the one time I kind of smiled at the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then every single time he talks after that, I feel like I like him 1% less all the way till the end.
And like that's kind of the point of Claptrap, though.
That is the point of Claptrap.
But what I'll say though is like they went into his sense of humor as like not the way. Like it should be like sort of like this sort of like. You love him because he's kind of useless and you don't really understand what the fuck his function is. But he
You love him?
Well, you love him, but he leans into that bit in the wrong way, I think. And then the other issue I had was the poop jokes. It was just constant poop jokes.
That's when I hit 0%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, stop talking about poop. I don't know why I didn't accent.
Stop talking about
Stop
poop.
talking about poop.
The poop.
The
It's
poop.
too much.
It's too much poop. No, but like the when he started singing about scanning, and Lilith says, "Can you do that without singing?" and he says, "Yes," and then continues singing. I was like, "That's Claptrap." That right there was like a split second of Claptrap. I openly like guffawed. I was like, "Ha!"
Yeah.
And that was probably the last time
That's where
I
they
laughed.
peaked, and then they just dropped off from there. Like
Yeah,
the
that-
movie had like one like
Yeah,
What's a heartbeat?
yeah. The movie had like another, to its credit, Pandora looked like Pandora mostly.
So,
Sure.
Except they didn't explore it enough.
No.
It sort of became one wasteland section.
Firestone
and then,
was as good as I could have expected from a live action Firestone, I think.
Yeah.
And what was the other one that looked kind of okay? Was it the Caustic Caverns? I guess. Maybe the set was done well. I don't like that they called it the Caustic Caverns because it looked nothing like it.
No, it was a
especially
sewer.
because Tannis makes a big deal out of the acid burns everything except the natural crystals. Oh, except these pipes that it's being transported through.
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't burn through those. Okay, way to destroy your own fucking logic, movie. But the sets weren't awful. Claptrap looked really, really good. That might be it as far as pros, I guess.
No, there's got to be one other thing, right?
I did genuinely make a list. I'm trying very hard to find it.
So, I'll say...
music. Music was good.
Music
Like, original score was really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, the parts of music, like, that play underneath. Like, the licensed bits were, like, a little
the
too
fact
much.
that they didn't get...
Ain't No Rest for the Wicked by Cage
seriously.
the Elephant.
Like,
The fucking song people
yeah.
think of when they
Even
think
if it was, like-
Borderlands.
even if it was like the credits.
Yeah, like the end credits or something. Just to fucking throw it in there. Be like, hey, guys, we still know you exist. It was just it was completely missed.
Instead, we get Ace of Base while they're going and escaping the caverns
Yeah, I
and
don't-
killing people in
Yeah.
slow-mo. Okay, fine.
I
But
did love when they went down there and they were like, "Oh, these guys are bad news, and we have a 0% chance of ever killing them, and they're actually way too tough for all of us." And then they actually get into a gunfight, and they're like, "Oh, actually, we just kind of shoot them like all the other guys."
yeah, like
just fucking shoot 'em. Okay, cool.
Turns
No,
out they're
ooh.
normal bandits.
there was one actually good scene, like visually, was
Ooh,
when
okay.
remember when it was dark and they had glow in the dark psychos.
Oh, yeah.
That was kind of
Okay.
cool for a second,
I did enjoy that
and
for a
that
second.
might be because I was on an edible.
I mean, it's not because of that, but
Listen, I'll take anything.
yeah, right.
yeah, that was kind of cool. I did enjoy that as well. But yeah, the original music is probably like the last good note I have in here, and that's only because you guys don't know this. I do, and I'm a nerd. Steve Jablonsky is the composer. He also does the Gears of War games up until 4.
No,
Okay.
So he did the original Gears of War.
so all the
trilogy.
shitty ones.
The best ones, actually. You know who does Gears of War 4 and parts of 5 is Ramin Djawadi, who did the Game of Thrones soundtrack.
Oh,
Ooh.
So they tried to upgrade, and they did mostly. It's just the
Expensive.
rest of the game lacks a little, but none of them are bad.
I like 5 a lot.
I also like 5
There's
a lot.
5.
Yeah.
I thought we were done at 3, and then you
Technically,
said
there's
4,
6.
and I was
Technically,
like,
there
oh,
are
Judgment.
7.
There was Judgment.
And
7.
then Gears Tactics, which is a top-down.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of
Halo
like
did one of those
Spec,
too.
not Spec Ops, XCOM.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Halo did too.
Halo Wars.
Yeah.
So it's got 2 of them.
Halo Wars and Halo Wars 2. Did you know there was a second one?
I did know that one actually.
Okay.
I'm not really a Halo/Gears guy. For someone who plays Xbox,
I was gonna say for someone who
Yeah.
exclusively plays Xbox, you
Just
do not play the
the-
biggest
yeah.
Xbox exclusives. How hilarious! But the plot, I found it very hard to follow. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. It seemed really
Which is weird
fucking,
because it felt like also nothing was happening.
yeah.
I think that's why it was hard to, because it was like you're watching, you're like, what? But who's the what? And like it's all about essentially, if I'm understanding this correctly, you show up and you think that Tiny Tina is the siren that opens the vault,
She's the chosen one, the only one who can open the vault.
and Tiny Tina is a bit character in the second game. Why are we starting with her as like the main objective? And then Roland, it's oh my god, it's so bad. And then Roland has to go save her, and it's like, but Roland, you're a vault hunter. What are you doing to saving? But then he's like, oh, well, because I want to open the vault to make sure Atlas doesn't open the vault. But then Roland's Kevin Hart, so he's Kevin Harting it too hard. And then I cried a little.
So I wanted Kevin Hart to take this role in a different direction than his other roles. And to be completely fair, he doesn't completely Kevin Hart it. But like the first instance we meet him and he takes the helmet off and Tina meets him and he's like, "Oh, your father sent me to help you." And she's like, "Oh, he sent his shortest soldier." Like, stop.
Yeah.
Stop. Why
Dude,
did you do that?
That and all of the times Kate Blanchett like refers to how old she is. She does that like 4 times.
She does, yeah.
Why are we pointing it out?
Yeah.
Why are
It's
we
like
hanging a hat on the thing that you're trying to hide?
they were trying to Deadpool it, essentially, which is what I was getting. And that
but
might
none of the other ingredients are there to do
yeah,
that.
exactly. Like you took the one little tiny part of Deadpool that wasn't that. It's like that bit isn't the best part of Deadpool. Like you missed it. You didn't understand Deadpool to begin with, and then try to use Deadpool in your movie.
Do you think they were like, oh, we got to make it PG-13 because rated R movies don't make any money, and then the week before Deadpool comes out and they're like, oh no,
You know,
We missed it.
speaking of Deadpool, do you know what Deadpool did today?
Broke $1 billion.
It broke $1 billion.
He's not real, Jeff. You know that, right?
He's not real.
What?
He's not. No.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's a movie and like a comic book.
But like, Good Pool is real, right? Like the really handsome one with
Yeah,
long
that
hair?
one's real.
Okay,
but he's
good.
dead now.
Good.
That was so fucked up. Can we talk about that movie instead? Can we just turn this around? Because that was a good movie.
That was a real. Don't tell D that it was a good movie. He'll fucking strangle you.
I mean, God forbid I enjoy a movie.
D also shat on me for disliking season 2 of House of the Dragon because nothing happens and every character is written poorly. Like one of the characters has her son murdered, and 2 episodes later she doesn't give a shit anymore.
Oh, you know how you people, you person.
You just like get over the death
like-
of your son.
yeah.
You watch him get beheaded in his crib.
like everyone does.
Sure, yeah,
I do it all the time. I behead
And-
children all the
Did the
time.
baby have bad vibes though?
It was a baby,
Yeah, so terrible vibes. Shit itself.
and he
crying
was
all
like,
the time.
"Oh, you just don't like intellectual stuff," and that's fine. And I was like, "No, I fucking loved The West Wing and I loved Game of Thrones. It's not that at all." Anyway, not about that pretentious cunt.
Oh.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. They're not gonna. He's not gonna listen to this.
We're
He doesn't give a shit
friends,
about
I swear.
yeah. We're totally friends. We're totally friends. John, do you have any nice things to say about this movie at all?
It was the visual with the
That's
glow in the
it.
dark. That's 100%.
Yeah,
That's literally
I
the
think we've
only
really-
thing. You can think
I played 3.5 games. No one can play the pre-sequel and enjoy it. They're fucking lying if they did.
of. Pre-sequels.
It's fucking
fine.
terrible.
It's
I
fine.
I've tried so many times to get through it.
It is the one I haven't beaten.
Yeah, it's the one I haven't beaten.
I've beaten Wonderlands.
No, I Wonderlands
There
I
you
haven't
go.
played at all, so I don't.
Wonderlands, I forgot about Wonderlands. I didn't play because it's not technically. I wouldn't say it's a Borderlands game. It's a Tiny Tina game.
I have it with all the DLC because it was on sale for like a stupidly low amount at one time.
I just don't think I'm
and-
gonna enjoy it. They mix D&D and Borderlands.
it works, but it's kind of like you're not getting what you want from Borderlands at that point. That's how my opinion was of it. Like it's a game that I know everyone I've known who played it liked it and beat it and all that stuff. So it's an enjoyable game.
The only thing
but-
I've heard about it is that the end game content is like kind of nothing
Is it?
unless you have DLC.
Okay.
Where like you know how every
mean,
Borderlands
that's
game
Close to Borderlands, all of them, mostly.
I mean, you
No, there's always the big. Oh my god, and that's the other fucking problem I had is that they get into the vault and you're like, oh, we're gonna fight the big thing, and then the thing just doesn't come out.
I thought what they were gonna do is they were gonna do like game one. Is game one Destroyer?
I think
The
yeah.
first two have a
Yes.
very similar name.
Yeah.
The first one is the second one is the Destroyer. The first one is keep talking.
They're like the same vibe.
and then there was no like Cromarax, which was remember
Cromrax was a DLC boss in one.
he was but he was the one who was just a level too high, so you had to like everyone had to be there, and your bullets didn't do enough damage because you already was 3 levels. So everyone who was 3 levels too high, your bullets wouldn't do nearly as much damage.
Yeah.
And so he was intentionally always whatever level you were 3 levels too high, so it would be hard to beat him. And it's like again, this is a big element of the game where there's these giant fucking demon monsters that come out of portals, and then I'm like, oh right, at least that'll happen, right? And like the tremor that they drive through, I was like, cool. They're gonna fight more of these. No, like you
It
fight.
would be kind of funny if they had to fight Cromrax or something like that. And then
I so apologize, Troy. The Destroyer is the name of the first one.
gotcha.
The second one is Warrior.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because in my head, I could hear Handsome Jack screaming Destroyer, and I was like, oh, that must be the name of the second boss.
Warrior, yeah.
No, it's Warrior. They are really fucking close, though.
But I was gonna say it would have been a funny bit if they were like if they had to kill Cromrax or something like that. And then later in the game, they're like, "Oh no, it's the son of Cromrax."
That would
and then,
be yeah.
and they just keeps coming back with new ones, which is what they do in the game.
Yeah, like it just to be aware that the game exists. Like there was no elements where, like the only other gaming thing they did was they wore those masks, and it was oh, it's like your customizable character you have, and they had like references to that. But it's like that's not these are nods. These aren't like core elements, and it should be more core elements of the game in the movie.
Yeah. It also, I feel like they did a disservice to Tina's backstory and Tannis's as well, because like Tina's backstory is just like completely disregarded in this movie because she's got a completely new one.
They made her essentially the original Siren, the Angel. They made her Angel, which is Handsome Jack's daughter.
Yeah.
But they replaced Handsome Jack
they
with
mixed Tina and Angel together.
Yeah,
and it didn't really come out.
But like Handsome Jack and Angel was a good story because it's like you take this really evil bad guy and turn it into this like actually heartfelt father who had the whole thing, genuine heart in the game, and then they took that and they completely removed the heart and the cool characters and just replaced it with Tina, which is an already established character, and the dude from Atlas, which I'm pretty sure was also an already established character. So a forgettable one at best.
Was he? I don't remember.
I mean, there's probably all of them probably have a guy who is the owner of the company that we hear the name of. At some
That's the
point
thing. Like,
in,
I'm
a
sure we've heard the
log.
name, but I don't think we ever met any of them except for Jack. I think he's the only like head of a company.
Jack and
Jacobs,
as well as he's got the mustache.
Oh, and Mr. Torg.
And Mr. Torg and the mustache.
The guy who takes over Atlas.
Yes, the guy who takes over
Yeah, I
Atlas.
forget
That's
his
right.
name.
Oh,
Yeah.
Reese.
Reese,
Yeah.
who is also amazing.
Okay, we've
and
met
another,
a number of heads of corporations.
Yes. Reese,
I may have misspoke.
another great character they could add it instead of this shithead that we gave us.
But I was gonna say with the ending, I really thought what they were gonna do was be like, oh, it's the destroyer from the first game, and that's why we have all the holes, so that way all the tentacles can come out of it. And then that didn't happen.
Yeah.
I was like, so what was the holes then?
Yeah,
Well, where are the holes? Where did the holes
It
go?
doesn't make any sense. It's just it completely missed the mark.
Yeah, and like I don't understand why Tina is quirky. Like in Borderlands 2, she's quirky because she's half insane from kind of blowing up her parents.
Yeah, she just becomes like she goes to the Pandora and then suddenly just is
Yeah,
Tiny Tina.
there's
Like,
no real explanation. I feel like we missed half the movie in the beginning.
yeah, like they're by the time like Lilith gets to the planet, why has had so much? How they have established so much on Pandora? Like they went from escaping Atlas to we have a fort in Pandora. We have this whole plot of land, and we're already established people in this place, and like Sanctuary knows us. Like we missed out the entirety of that. And mind you, I don't need a backstory and everything, but it just went from 0 to 100.
Yeah.
And-
It just completely felt unearned almost. And it just felt like they bastardized a character who isn't huge in the stories in the beginning, but becomes a bigger part in Borderlands 3 for sure.
And then Tannis, which is the whole idea is that she's been on the planet and goes insane.
Yep.
And she becomes like
She was an Atlas Corporation employee or doll, I can't remember, and she gets abandoned, and they just take all the other scientists out, and she just has to make do with the bandits that just remain.
And then she like in this becomes sort of dehumanized, and they kind of touch on that where the way she acts is sort of like, oh, I have no actual morals or give a shit at all. But it's delivered in such a great dry way with the character in the game, and then you get this weird, goofy, like characterization of her where she's kind of like woo-wee, quirky.
Yeah.
It's like what are you doing? It's
Well,
supposed to be
what?
dry and like stale. Like the whole point of her character is that she just is blank faced and like okay, like you could say something and she's just like okay.
She's
Yeah.
like kind of afraid of everything in this
Yeah,
movie too.
yeah. What the fuck?
It's so fucking bizarre.
Where in the game she would just sort of be like, maybe I'll die.
Yeah.
And then I'll be dead. So it's not
Exactly.
really going to be an issue for me.
Exactly.
Yeah, oh boy.
Also, can we talk about the dialogue options for this movie? of
The what?
stuff like along the lines of you in what army? The army right behind me. Oh no,
God.
it got in my mouth. Like
God.
there's like 4 of those.
Yeah.
It was written as if it was a target audience of actual children, and I'm not sure if they know this, but the people who played the game are like older now because that game came out fucking 15 or 10 years
I
ago.
think who this movie is for is somebody who hasn't seen a movie yet. And then they're like, they watch this and they're like, that's great. And they're like, there are more of these. And there's like, there's more of this?
That reminds me of a stand-up bit of Tom Segura. He's like, I'm just gonna guess go. He talks about like coming in a girl for the first time, and he's like, it's like when kids first get melted cheese, and he's like, you can have this, yeah, you can have it anytime. Anytime I can have melted cheese, it's fucking delicious.
I really wanted to go into this movie with as open a mind as possible to enjoy it as much as I could, because there have been a couple other in recent history. There's been good video game adaptations. Halo is the worst recently, and even that's not terrible.
I think
Fallout
this
is amazing.
I think
Mario
this is,
Bros. Movie was good.
I think this is nature healing. I think
You
that
think-
we've had too many good video game things for too long, that
And-
somebody went, oh,
Somebody needed to remind us that no,
Yeah.
video game movies are garbage.
Eli
They should
Roth's
stop
like-
making them.
Eli Roth watched Arcane before this and just went, no, no, we can't have this.
So I think it goes back to it being produced back in like 2015. It's like they kept the 2015 video game movies and was like, oh,
Yeah.
we're still
They
doing
watched
these, right?
Warcraft and went,
Yeah.
oh, this is what we're
We're
going
doing
for.
these, right? They did no research in the recent history of like, oh, if we get more accurate, more similar to the game and the characters' vibes, sort of the build the characters like that, it makes a better movie. I thought we were just gonna copy and paste as much as we could. Like,
Yeah. There's not really a whole lot to genuinely talk about this movie because there's just nothing here.
yeah,
It's a big old fucking nothing burger that looks good on the surface, but there's just nothing deeper.
it goes back to, and another one I always go to when it comes to like doing something in this sort of stylistic sort of atmosphere. It's when you have something that's meant to be like flashy, stylistic, gory. I always think back to this movie called Guns Akimbo, which is a Daniel Radcliffe comic book movie where he has guns drilled to his hands and it's just chaos and energy the entire time. It's a very high octane action movie that's done very, in my way, like a very comic book / video game kind of accurate style because it's so stylized and like ridiculous and gory and like all over the place, and it just kind of just doesn't give you anything satisfying. It's just kind of constantly running at you, but in a way that just feels like you're playing the movie. And I feel like that energy needs to be put into this movie because this movie should have been so over the top. Like it should have been like stupid over the top. Things should have been happening all the fucking time. You shouldn't have been able to catch up with all of the gore. Like it should have been more, and it just went the opposite route.
Could you imagine how fun it could have been if they were like, and here's one Torg gun in this movie?
Yeah, just one.
It was just a assault rifle that shoots rockets.
Yeah, dude.
A flamethrower. We got a fucking flamethrower instead. What the fuck?
There isn't a flamethrower in Borderlands at all. It's so strange.
Yeah.
man.
It just seems like it Googled it. It Googled Borderlands once, and then it was just like, we're done. This is all the research.
Which
we
is
need.
bizarre as hell because Gearbox has a credit in the opening of the movie.
That was weird.
They
That-
made
I
this
saw that, I
movie
was like,
alongside Gearbox.
yeah, Gearbox and 2K both show up, and I was like, that's not something I'm used to seeing in this
Like,
environment.
Yeah, if you've got the guys who know the shit next to you, why did that resource not get tapped?
Well, isn't like what's his name, Pritchard?
Randy Pitchford.
Isn't he like insane though? Like
No.
he says some wild shit sometimes.
He's a little bit of a quorked up guy.
He's too involved on Twitter. I know that.
He's a really good friend of Penn Jillette, which if you know Penn of Penn and Teller at all, you know that should tell you all you need to know about Randy Pitchford.
Okay. Because I know he gets engaged and shit. Like I remember when people were talking shit on Borderlands 3, he was like very involved, and I was like, you need to step back. You just made it, like yeah. So
I love Randy. It's just he's a colorful character.
yeah, but that being said, though, it's like yeah. Would you didn't say a single note? Did you just go? This feels right. This feels right.
Yeah, this feels.
I fucking hate my fans. This is gonna be good.
Yeah, my product that I've spent like 20 years building up and making good. This feels like a good thing to do to it. Yeah, good job.
I love the entire time they're doing this. He's like, I swear to God, guys, you're getting Borderlands 4. It's almost like him going like, I'm sorry, guys, you're getting a Borderlands 4 now to make up for this. Like, but then it's like, do I want a Borderlands 4? Like after watching
I don't know
this,
if
are
I
you
do.
okay? Yeah. Do I want a Borderlands 4 that takes this movie and references it somehow?
Oh,
like,
God,
like
no.
makes it.
Oh,
like,
it will.
Yeah, but like in a way, there's a mission where you just play this fucking plot and it's just boring. It's called like the boring mission or something. Like just something vicious on it.
Oh,
would be
man.
good.
I hope that doesn't happen. I also feel like they've written themselves into a bit of a hole with the Borderlands story after Lilith's sacrifice into the moon. But whatever. That's a whole other topic for a whole different podcast. I genuinely don't have anything else to say. This movie is such fucking garbage. It's not even good bad. It's just
it's
bad
actually
bad.
not.
And that's
It's-
the thing. Yeah.
It's one of the first times. So we saw Madam Web, we saw Night Swim.
I genuinely think this is worse than either of those.
Swim. Is that
I
the one
think
about
on
the
a
killer
tech,
pool?
I think on a tech, yeah,
it's
it
the one
is.
with the killer pool.
I think on a technical level, Madam Web's worse than this. I think
Oh yeah, I can agree with that.
Madam Web is a movie that I will own, and I said on our podcast that I want to show it to my friends and force them to watch it.
It is that level of like
Yeah.
hate watch.
This
It's up there with like the Star Wars holiday special
Yeah.
that I have.
This is not going to be that. I am actually mad at you guys for delaying this podcast one day after it was supposed to be because I had to think about this movie for 24 more hours. The minute I leave this apartment, it will never be thought about again.
Yeah, it's forgettable. It's such that's what it is. It's not just a bad Borderlands movie. It's a bad movie.
Yeah, I think it's one of the few times, as somebody who sees awful shit all the time on purpose, like we did Cats as like one of our first episodes.
So good.
I
love that movie.
I never like. This is one of the first times in a long time I felt like I wasted money going to the movie theaters.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, and I saw it in fucking IMAX.
Ooh.
Dude.
You must have loved all the flashy gore and the. Oh, wait a minute.
Mm-hmm. it looked pretty, mostly, kinda,
Mm-hmm.
and even that's the other thing I wrote down. Why in hell are you taking a video game series that is known for cell shading animation and live actioning it?
Yeah, why not
Why?
make it an animated movie?
Why?
Yeah. I would say the only way you couldn't do a big budget Borderlands animated movie. I think you would have to do like a series. They did the comic books too.
Oh,
There's a whole separate series.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to derail you. So I was reading about the Borderlands movie on Wikipedia. So the Hammerlock wedding to Jacobs was officiated by Penn Jillette,
Oh, fuck you.
and the whole scene got cut.
That would have been great.
It would have been amazing.
That would have been the only. That would have been the other.
I was literally here thinking, like, it's a Borderlands product. Where is Penn's cameo? Because Penn and Randy are such good friends. Penn is in Borderlands 3.
Well, maybe they didn't want Borderlands to be associated with the LGBT communities. Seems like a thing they would try to stray from for Borderlands.
It does? I don't understand where this joke's coming from or going.
It's
but
just because
sure.
everybody's fucking gay or bi or trans in Borderlands. I feel like half of the characters.
Oh, the wedding itself is two men.
Yeah, it's two,
okay.
yeah.
Okay, I thought you meant like Penn was somehow like an
No.
LGBT icon.
No.
I'm like libertarian
No, I'm
90-year-old magician Penn Jillette.
No, I'm saying they
I don't
probably took it
understand.
out. No, I'm saying they probably took it out because they don't want Borderlands to be seen as gay.
Ah, right. Very, very anti-LGBT game.
Yeah, Borderlands is pretty straight and cis all the way through.
Sure, totally, yeah, rad.
The
Cool,
other
cool,
thing
cool.
I wanted to mention, I just really want. I have the smoke for this one fucking character. Why is Nox the worst character in
Nox
maybe a movie?
fucking sucks.
Yeah, Nox is terrible.
It's.
Oh, and then Captain Flint shows up and it's just there.
I didn't even. I
They
don't
didn't
even
even
know what
name
you're
him.
talking
No,
about.
he's the guy with the little horns. He's he's the brother of
I thought
somebody.
no, it's Crom.
Is it?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what it said in the credits. I think.
Okay, I thought it was Captain. He's definitely like a bad guy at some point,
Yeah.
and I was just like, oh, we're not even gonna talk about it.
Mhm.
We're just gonna be there. But yeah, Nox sucks.
Yeah, Nox.
Yeah, Nox is so fucking terrible.
Nox is like they have a one word they have like a one sentence dialogue scene where like they're like, oh, you were with Roland or something like that, and then the entire movie she's just hunting them, and then at the very end she's like, wait a minute, I've had a change of heart randomly, and then gets disintegrated, so that doesn't go anywhere. And I was like, what the fuck was this character supposed to be here
It
for?
was just to have Nox in the movie. Which again, why though? Like, why are we? What? Pick a game first off. Like, you didn't have to do all three, or I guess the first two games, but. And then Handsome Jack would have been better. Like, have Handsome Jack show up or something. Like, somebody cool.
Yeah.
You mean the guy that my like people in my family who don't play video games go, oh, the guy from the
Yeah.
Handsome Jack, the Borderlands guy?
You all right there, bud?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
The movie's killing him.
Yeah, it's literally
It's killing him.
My stress, my blood pressure is through the roof.
Oh my goodness gracious. But yeah, fucking absolute craziness. I don't understand how this movie got made. And then to top it all off, it's only made $9 million as of right now.
Holy shit.
It has made $9 million as of right now on a budget of $130.
I think we'll get there.
No.
I really, really hope it doesn't like break like 50 mil.
I don't think it will.
Yeah.
I think everyone that wanted to hate watch it already has.
Yeah.
I think everyone that wanted to watch it ironically has. And all the diehard fans that were like, all right, I'm going to watch it. I hope everyone's wrong. And they're not. Everyone that wanted or needed to watch it already has.
Yeah, I think we peaked at $9 million. It's going to be like $300 next weekend.
Borderlands
Yeah,
has
it's going to be like that FIFA movie that came out and they were measuring dollars in like actual ticket sales. It was like, oh, we made $27 this week.
and
Jesus
FIFA.
Sorry.
No, you're good. But like Borderlands has the same sort of comedy crossover with like Deadpool fans. Hi, John. And
Why do you point out John like that? Does John like Deadpool?
Hey, what's on your arm?
That's Johnny the Homicidal Maniac.
Oh,
This is Deadpool.
okay.
Further up, yeah. It's Deadpool
Okay,
and
thanks.
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. And I'm surprisingly not Borderlands. Yeah, I mean, it is. It's very, like, that's the reason why I love Borderlands so much. It does the same sort of sense of humor and stylization.
Hey,
of
and
Deadpool.
also, what's still in theaters?
Oh, Deadpool and Wolverine. Yeah, exactly.
What's
The
still
fan
making
base.
money?
Deadpool and
A shitload
Wolverine
of money.
out now. Go watch it.
Go watch that. I literally, when we were buying tickets, I was like, where we could go see Deadpool again?
Dude, I debated with doing it. I debated going and seeing Deadpool and Wolverine again instead of going to see Borderlands because they was playing in the IMAX across the fucking way.
Nice.
And it was like a 5-minute difference in the start time, and I was like, we could just walk right over there. But no. So, Borderlands, final score, Troy.
Oh boy, what are we doing? Numbers or letters?
What do you want to do?
Let's.
John, letters or numbers?
I told you, it's Stalefish. And
Stalefish.
there's 6 out of 415.
All right, numbers it is. Troy, how we feeling?
Numbers. It's like a 10. Out of are we doing 100 or
Okay,
10 out
I
of 10?
thought I in my head
It was
10 out of-
honestly the greatest movie I've ever seen.
It's so good. After all of that, no.
Citizen Kane got nothing on
No,
Borderlands.
okay, if we're doing 1 out of 10, then it is maybe on a good day when I'm feeling happy, a 2.
I was gonna say it's a 2 out of 10.
Okay.
2 out of 10 for sure. There is nothing redeemable about this movie, if at all. Like, you can go in and get enjoyment out of tiny pieces of it. You will not enjoy the product as a whole, and you will have walked out of the theater feeling like you were robbed of your time and money.
There is not a scene that I'm going to look up on YouTube later.
No, zero. Absolutely zero. The only thing I can think of is like Jack Black saying scanning, scanning, scanning. That's it. That's the only part that I want to remember. The rest of it can get flushed. Gone. Forever. I want this movie to stop existing in my brain. I feel like I could dedicate other things to the brain space.
That's the thing. It didn't even take up enough brain space. Like you was saying, they were saying.
You was saying. Yeah, you over there.
I use them all.
Basically, like the second this podcast is over, that's gone. It's so forgettable. It's just nothing exists.
All right, that's it.
All right, yeah, we loved it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
It's pretty good.
Next week, Troy, we're gonna watch Alien Romulus. You excited?
I
that
am
looks
excited
good.
for that. I actually am excited for that.
Yeah,
I
that
never saw any of the aliens. I was like, damn, that looks good.
you should.
I know. We were talking about doing the binge.
Watch 1 and 2, skip them, and then watch Covenant.
Okay. That's
Skip 3, 4, and I think there's a 5.
You can watch Prometheus. Prometheus is okay.
Prometheus School running away from things. That's a cinema sin.
You can watch Prometheus if you want, but just watch 1, 2, and Covenant.
Okay. Yeah. We're gonna. I did all the Saw movies before the Saw.
I mean,
10,
the first
so-
one, Ridley Scott, obviously. The second one, little known director, you might know him, James Cameron.
No.
No,
Never heard of him.
Never?
Nah.
Okay.
Sounds like a smelly
And
wet guy.
then David Lynch 3?
I want to say David Lynch.
And
did
then
3.
Joss Whedon 4.
Yeah, and
Ooh.
surprisingly,
Yeah.
3 and 4 super bad. Even though David Lynch is a good director outside
He's
of
also a psycho too, isn't he? Is
Yeah.
he he's a crazy person.
David
Joss
Lynch
Whedon's
is a big
crazy person.
psycho. Whedon is recently outed as a bad psycho.
Was Justin Roiland cast in one of these?
Oh no!
You know what I watched recently was I'm rewatching with my friend Nicole Gravity Falls.
Oh yeah.
And halfway through that I was like, "Oh, Justin Roiland's in a lot of this and so is
Louis C.K.
I was yeah. I
Louis
forgot about that. I
CK
didn't
is
think
in it,
about
too.
that. I was going to say TJ Miller is the other one.
TJ Miller.
Oh
Yeah.
God.
Yeah,
ew.
yeah,
TJ
yeah.
Miller
I was
is
like Robbie,
he's
the
Robbie,
boyfriend.
Wendy's boyfriend. Yeah. There's a lot of actors in that show that you look back now and it's like, oh, they're problematic for a lot of reasons, huh? I mean, thankfully, Alex Hirsch is squeaky clean, I guess.
So far, man,
He just
I
had a lot of weird friends.
Keep with it. Stay
You
that
see
way.
that one guy that made a show for Cartoon Network?
Don't make me upset.
He
Oh
came
yeah,
out as a
the Mighty
pedophile?
Magic Swords guy.
Yeah. There's a Cartoon Network show that came out a couple years ago called like something Magic Swords or something, and the creator just got arrested. He had like a whole bunch of kiddie porn on his laptop.
Damn.
It was like 60 videos or something.
I didn't know I created that show.
Shut the fuck up, John.
And that's the end of the podcast forever.
That's the end of the podcast. The cops are actually waiting for you, John.
Whoop whoop. That's the end of the Bunleys.
That's it. It's over. And look at that. This was a better use of your time than going and watching Borderlands. Now, John, tell me how much you just love Deadpool and Wolverine.
So good. I had sex that movie for myself.
Is the microphone off?
Are you talking into your microphone?
Am I supposed to be?
Yeah. This is the button. This is the end.
Oh.
How good was the movie? Did you like it?
Deadpool?
Yes.
Deadpool was a good movie.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Out of 10.
Out of 10, 13.
Ooh.
Oh, I fucking love that movie. It was everything I wanted in a Deadpool movie, and made Deadpool way more of a psycho than he ever was. He's way more unhinged. And at one point, he grabs the fucking camera and headbutts it. I was like, fucking coming. It was
Did
awesome.
they say who Ladypool was under the mask?
Yeah, it was Blake Lively.
Which,
Which, by the way, was inspired by their creator, Rob Liefeld, before they were even together back in 2012. And she showed a post of it, him going like, by the way, my inspiration for Ladypool was Blake Lively because they were just watching the Gilmore Girls.
That's
so
amazing.
It's insane. Like, the universe was like fucking destined for this thing to be together.
Also, I found out Blake Lively posted a TikTok from her personal account about how every time Ryan puts a 90s or 2000s like pop song in the movies, it's like a reference to her and like their relationship because she fucking grew up on that shit.
Nice.
So the intro with Backstreet Boys, he picked that song because of Blake.
Nice.
Apparently.
Adorable.
According to Blake, anyway.